Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. I hope everyone's having a lovely week. I'd like to wish my subscribers, viewers, a pleasant day. Today I'd like to talk a bit about Jack John Showalter, aka Hoodie Guy. I came across a clip today that the YouTube creator believed that Showalter, his relatives, lived in the house where Brian Kohlberger and his family lives in Albright, Pennsylvania. And I do not believe that there's any relations to Kendrick Showalter, who previously lived in that house or bought that house before the Kohlbergers. The reason that I say that, I always try to do a thorough research before I share my thoughts on YouTube. And when I share my thoughts and speculations, I always make sure to say that. I have been doxxed recently and I do not expect other people to be doxxed. That isn't fair towards Showalter's family or towards the Kohlberger family. I don't believe there's any relationship between the Kohlbergers and the Showalters just because a man called Kendrick Showalter lived at the house in Albright, Pennsylvania, that the Showalter family lived in. That the Kohlberger family lives in. I've done a research and checked into the Showalters before, and I'll explain to you all in this manner. The Showalters belong and always have lived in Boise, Idaho, and Eagle, Idaho. I think that's in Boise too. Showalter, his father, his name is not Kendrick, neither does he have any uncles called Kendrick. I know all the names, his sister, father, brother, and y'all can go and check that up. I'm not going to dox the family. They've always been from Idaho State, Boise. The father is a doctor. His mother's a doctor. His two brothers are doctors. He has a sister, older sister. His younger brother Hank and Jack Showalter. The reason I mention them is because they went to Idaho Moscow University. But the family is from Boise, Idaho. So let's make that clear, because that would be wrong to drag people who have no relations with each other. I'm from London, UK, but I know the distance between Idaho, Moscow, Idaho, Boise, up to Pennsylvania. We all know that it's 18 hours away from Idaho, Moscow to Pennsylvania. The reason we know that is because Brian Kohlberger and his father drove 18 hours from Washington Pullman. That is 10 minutes away from Idaho, Moscow to their home in Pennsylvania. 18 hours. The Showalter family have nothing to do with the East Coast. They're strictly from the West Coast. They're strictly from Idaho, Boise. So it is definitely a coincidence. We have many people with the same surnames. You have an example. You have many people called Barnes. You have many people called Smith. You have many people called Showalter's. You have many people called KOHBERGER'S, if you go and Google it up. But just because somebody has the same surname like somebody else, that doesn't make them relatives at all. Especially when they live in two states so far away from each other. I know people can move around, but there's no connections between them. And like I said, I know all the names because I've done the research of the Showalter as well. But I'm not going to dox them. Coming back to doxing, I was recently doxed. I said that in my last clip, and I wanted to talk about it a bit more. My question that I'm really interested in is after the person doxed me and wrote down things that they weren't supposed to write in my comment channel, like proper doxing, I noticed one thing. The person mentioned and defended Jack Showalter. So I personally believe the person who doxed me could be Jack Showalter, could be someone in his family, could be someone who had to do with the 911 call. And that's what I wanted to talk about. The 911 call is extremely important. I've mentioned that in my clips from the very beginning. And it's strange that right after the clip I made about the 911 call, Enon Harsh, the surviving roommates, I mentioned Jack Showalter, I mentioned Hunter Johnson too. All the people who were allegedly there at the 911 call. Right after that is when I got doxed. So, was it Jack Showalter? Was it Dylan Malterson? Was it Bethany Funk? Was it Hunter Johnson? Somebody was definitely doxing me, and I believe it is one of these students. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is what is there about the 911 call. I believe I got closer. I've been touching someone's nerve that they reacted in such a horrible and horrific way to dox me and everyone I know. Showalter, or Jack should I say, aka Hoodie Guy, aka John Showalter, is the important person in this case. The reason I say that is he was the last person, one of the last people to see Maddie and Kaylee. I want to know what he meant by telling Maddie, you know they're gonna get you for that, girls. 2 hours later, the girls were unfortunately gone. They were deleted from this world. So was the couple. Jack Showalter was all over the grub truck like a hawk on the girls. He got upset when the girls left. You all saw he threw his hands in the air like the girls shouldn't have left without him. We've had that young woman who worked with Jack Showalter, who said allegedly that she came up to speak about this because she said if Jack Showalter is involved, you all need to know that he has been very aggressive towards females at her work. She said she had to literally slap him to get him out of her way. She said he was very rude, swearing, calling them names. And that was in a bakery they worked in Boise. She even put up the bakery's name. Jack Showalter was allegedly thrown out of the corner club that night. Allegedly. Because he was bothering Maddie and Kaylee. That's not a good sign. I've even heard that he wasn't bothering Maddie and Kaylee. I heard he was bothering 2 other girls. It doesn't matter who he was bothering some females. So if he was thrown off the corner club, he could have been waiting outside for the girls and he could have followed them home, followed them to the grub truck. You could literally see the way Maddie and Kaylee was walking that they didn't even care if Showalter was walking with them or not. They were too busy talking to each other. May they rest in peace. Jack Showalter was thrown out of his fraternity, allegedly, because of harassing females, allegedly. Those are all interesting things to point out. Jack Showalter's family allegedly rented him a flat at Kings Road or Queens Road. Queen's apartment, more like. Did he intentionally decide to move near the girls? Or was that the only flat his parents could find? Question mark. I'm just asking the questions. Jack Showalter was the only person that we know of that drove away that night after the unalivings or while the unalivings were going. We've heard that he left around 2 a.m. We don't know that. That's why I'm waiting for this trial to begin. Where was Showalter that night? He was out at the corner club, so I'm sure he was drinking a bit. If he was drinking, how did he manage to drive 5.5 hours to his parents' cabin in Boise, Idaho? If he was involved, that could have given him easily a chance to get rid of the weapon. Allegedly, Jack Showalter left to South Africa or Kenya with his parents who are doctors who go out for missionary jobs or these jobs where doctors help people in countries that really need that help. Where was his brother Hank Showalter? He was allegedly seen that night near Kings Road, according to the rumors in the beginning. But he allegedly showed a screenshot and said, I wasn't there. I was somewhere else, just like Quinn Kelly. Jack Showalter seems to have been a good friend with Xana. I've seen a couple of pictures with him and Xana. This young man is a professional wrestler. And this young man is a hunter. We've seen him when he was 16, 17 years old on Facebook. with the animals in front of him that he already hunted on. We've seen him with 2 K-bar knives. He and his friend had a K-bar knife each. One was lying on the floor, one was in his hand or near him. Everyone has seen that picture. So where was Jack Showalter? He was already upset that the girls left without him. Then we have Joe Vito allegedly lying and saying that he does not know Showalter, that he just met him at the grub truck, but they were cracking jokes, giving each other hands, laughing. But yet they did not know each other. Everyone at the grub truck, personally for me, mostly the people there look like they all knew each other and they all were cooking up some plot. We would like the police to tell us what his alibi was, he said, saying he would be able to move on if they could confirm it was solid. That is what Steve Gongalves said about Showalter. Kaylee's father, and Maddie's uncle, should we say, asked a very reasonable question. Where was Showalter that night? We just want to know what his alibi was. Did he have scars on his face? Did he have scars on his hands? Did he have a cut finger, possibly? You can see from Showalter, although the picture is not that close, and pictures can be deceiving, but you can see that he had his eye on Maddie and Katie. He was drinking. He came from the corner club. He wasn't sitting and drinking milk, I guess. So how did he manage to drive 5.5 hours to Boise, Idaho? When he knows there's an active case going on, he would have come back. We've even heard that his alibi was done, his statements by the police was taken over the phone. Only the police would know best. But whoever's doxing me was pissed off, was upset that I spoke about this man, Showalter, and the 911 call. So we need to figure that out. But I just wanted to end by saying something important. Jack Showalter and this Kendrick Showalter that was mentioned today or last night have nothing to do with each other. Showalter isn't from Pennsylvania. He isn't from the East Coast. He's from the West Coast. He's from Boise, Idaho. He and his family, his grandparents, and so forth, all belong to Boise, Idaho. I've been doxxed, and I hope people stop doxing the Showalter family too. If he's guilty, then he's guilty. But a court has to be done. The trial has to start, and then we would know what role he played in this horrific crimes. So we have the Showalter family here, or part of them. You have Jack Showalter down here with the white t-shirt and the blueprints. Hank Showalter next to him. Pause to read the term GeoSnap is a Snapchat setting that allows your location to be untraceable. This picture was taken by someone in Idaho Moscow University. Somebody who said that they saw this person with a mask in front of 1122 Kings Road right after the quadruples. Could that have been Jack Showalter? Allegedly. Adam? Allegedly. Jack D? Allegedly. It could have been anyone. I wonder if Jack Showalter has any witnesses who saw him driving towards Boise, Idaho. What about the gas station. Didn't he stop to use a toilet? Didn't he stop to buy food? Let's not forget this is people who are intoxicated, college students. He came from the corner club. So I'll end here, but on my final note that I made this clip for is that this house here in Albright, Pennsylvania, belongs to the KOHBERGER'S. The person who lived there before, if his name was Kendrick Showalter, he has no relations, absolutely no relations to do with the Showalters in Boise, Idaho. The Boise, Idaho family, the Showalter family, come from Boise, Idaho and Eagle, Idaho. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's be mindful when we're doxing people because it causes someone and some people really a lot of stress, financial, emotional, psychological, physical, all kind of stress. We are trying to get justice for the four victims, and we are not trying to create more victims. We need to be mindful of that. Have a lovely day, guys.